The Jack Eichel saga continues. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Sports Talk Buffalo. We are 2 weeks into this young NHL season. The Buffalo Sabres are doing surprisingly well, starting 4-1-1 in their first 6 games, are atop the NHL standings as one of the NHL's best teams, which is surprising to most people. I know nobody had the Sabres pegged at 4-1-1 after 6. However, there is still a dark cloud that appears to be hanging over this franchise in the fact that there has been no significant news around Jack Eichel, the Buffalo Sabres star center and former captain. Now, most people know that the Sabres and Jack Eichel want 2 completely different kinds of surgery. So let's talk about what each surgery is, what are the differences, and why Jack Eichel is so unwilling to budge on the surgery that he is choosing. Now, for the Buffalo Sabres, they want the most common surgery, which is called anterior cervical discectomy with fusion, which is going to be pictured right here. When the disc is removed, they place a bone graft in between the 2 vertebrae, and then they put a metal plate that helps stabilize the 2 vertebrae so that the bones can fuse with the bone graft that they put in the middle of the 2 vertebrae, thus fusing it together, making it more stable so that there is no more pain for the particular patient. However, even though this is the most common, it does come with quite a few problems. One of the first problems is that there is a chance that it may not fuse together, in which case they have to go back in, remove it, and redo essentially the whole surgery, which means more surgery for Jack Eichel, and it doesn't fix the problem. Another problem is that it places stress on the vertebrae completely above and completely and below the place where the fusion is happening. And this stress over time causes more chance for the player to have more surgeries, fusing more of his spine together in the future. It is 25% more likely that the player will have to get more of his vertebrae fused as time goes on. It's something like 4 to 7 years that it is more likely that the player will have to have more surgeries to continue to correct this deteriorating problem. So what is the type of surgery that Jack Eichel wants to get? Jack Eichel wants artificial disc replacement, which is exactly what it sounds. It's an artificial disc that is placed in between the 2 vertebrae. And while this surgery has never been done on an NHL player, it is not a relatively new or groundbreaking procedure. This procedure has been around since the year 2000, has been approved in the USA since the year 2000, and doesn't seem to come with the degenerative problems that spinal fusion seems to come with when you choose this surgery. It is less likely that there will be more surgeries with the artificial disc replacement that Jack Eichel wants to get. And not everyone is a good candidate, from what I have watched, that not everyone is a good candidate to get this type of surgery. But Jack Eichel is young, he has healthy bones, and his affected area is just the fact that he has a herniated disc, which is causing him a lot of discomfort. Those are some of the big factors in someone who can and should get artificial disc replacement surgery. So Jack Eichel is, in fact, probably correct in the fact that he wants to go ahead and get this surgery. Now, it doesn't seem to come with the term. When Jack Eichel wants this, he looks like he wants to come from a long-term solution. He doesn't seem like he wants to just kind of kick the can down the road in 4 to 7 years or 5 to 10 years and have to get more and more surgery. And it's looking looking for, and from the brief research I've done, the best course of action for himself going long term. And as I look at it, this looks like the best course of action for Jack Eichel long term. Not just in the short term so he can play now, which will, again, probably require more surgeries in the future. And he is still a young man. I don't think people understand that. I think Jack Eichel's only 24 years old. So he is a very, very young man and has a ton of his life ahead of him, even after hockey. So I think this is a big reason why he does not want to go with the spinal fusion surgery, as if he probably would when he is maybe closer to the end of his career. And it's less likely that he'll need more and more and more surgeries, given the fact that he's going to be jostled around and knocked around quite a bit. And the artificial disc will help with the movement and will provide less stress on all of the on the other vertebrae in his neck, causing less degenerative disease in his neck. So he won't have to get more surgery. Now, with that said, there are still two teams that are on the table for the Buffalo Sabres that seem to have quite a bit of interest in Jack Eichel. The first one I have covered before. It is the Calgary Flames. But what did the Buffalo Sabres need to get for Jack Eichel in order for this to be considered a relatively fair trade, in my opinion? Now, I think it has to start off with forward Connor Zary, who most believe is the best prospect in the Calgary Flames organization. Of course, you also have to have a first-round pick, but we talk about Connor Zary. Zary scored 7 points in 9 games in the AHL and 24 points in 15 games in a shortened season last year. Again, we have to get that first-round pick, and then it has to be at least one more piece, I feel like, in order to get somewhat fair value for Jack Eichel. So I would say either a decent roster player that has potential to be flipped again at the deadline in order to attain more pieces, or multiple picks. Something like 2 second-round picks also, in addition to the first-round pick and Connor Zary. So the Sabres are going to need 3 pieces that could potentially be made into 4 or 5 pieces, depending on how good Kevin Adams is at swinging more deals when it comes close to the deadline. The next team that has been reported, and it has been reported at the time of this video that their trade talks are ramping up with this team, is the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, they have a lot more cap space, about $5 million more cap space than the Calgary Flames, so it would probably be a little bit easier to swing a deal with the Vegas Golden Knights and have the money situation work out. However, so what does it take for the Buffalo Sabres to swing a deal and get fair value for Eichel? It starts with Peyton Krebs, who is what everyone believes is the best prospect in the Golden Knights organization. He had 5 points in 2 games in the AHL, and he has 8 points in 7 games last year at the U20 World Junior Championships. Another piece that I think the Sabres should potentially try to get is prospect Brendan Bryson. He is a 2020 first-round pick of the Golden Knights. He has 21 points in 24 games, including a team tied. He was tied for the team lead in goals at 10 as a freshman at the University of Michigan. The Sabres also need to acquire in this deal a first-round pick, of course, because you're still only getting 2 futures. You're going to get a third future as 3 pieces, and then maybe a later round pick, maybe a third-round pick, so that the Sabres go along with 4 futures for Jack Eichel, one of which who has the potential to play relatively soon, one of which will play in a year or 2 down the line, and then 2 draft picks, which you then can wheel and deal for other things as time goes on. But 4 pieces and 4 quality pieces, as Brendan Bryson is being reported to being one of the better prospects in the Golden Knights camp also. So you get 2 grade A prospects. You get 2 draft picks for Jack Eichel. Eichel gets to go play on a team that has the potential to be very, very good. And the Sabres get 4 futures and continue to build what they are seemingly building right now in Buffalo, which is a strong team, a fast team, a young team sprinkled in with some veterans that is performing very, very well under Coach Granato. Now, do I believe that the Sabres are going to get absolutely everything that they ask for when it comes to this trade? Absolutely not. I really don't think the Sabres are going to get fair market value for Jack Eichel. However, I believe as this arbitration starts getting closer and as the season goes on, we are getting closer and closer for the Buffalo Sabres to take the best offer that they have on the table and be done with this entire situation so that they can focus on building the organization that they see fit moving forward. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you guys never miss a video. I talk Sabres, Bills, and UB Bulls, men's basketball and football right here on this station. Videos pretty much every single week. Thank you, guys. Have a fantastic week.